All right, everybody, welcome back to the layout. So this is going to be another layout update. So at the last layout update, I've been slowly putting the things back on the layout after I painted the track and the skyboard and the fascia. Now I'm preparing for my first op session. So in this episode, I'm going to show you how I'm putting in my actual foul points, magnets, uncoupling magnets, and also, as you can tell, I'm adding more background buildings to the industrial area. I'm changing some things up, trying some new buildings, but let's get started with the foul points. We'll be right back. All right, so we're going to show you how to put in foul marker points, and basically what it does, it shows where the two pinch points are between two adjacent tracks. So for example, if I'm bringing in a train on this track here, right, engine first, and I got to cut off the train somewhere around here and then run around the train, I want to make sure that there's enough clearance between this track and this track, because if I don't have enough clearance, the engine or the car is going to hit whatever's left on this track. So railroads mark their ties or they mark their rails. Now the New Haven, they usually started with marking a tie in yellow. So that's what we're going to do here. And I did another one over here. And basically what you need to do this is very simple. Sharpie makes a paint pen. All right, so you shake it up. But before we put the paint on the actual rail, let's do an example of some clearance. So just say we have this car here that comes in, and we'll take this locomotive. We'll put this locomotive right here. Now, hypothetically, we drop the train off, and we want to run around the train. And the whole idea is we do not want to hit that car. So you can see how tight it is. So I would bring this down some more. And that works there. All right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to take my paint pen, and let's see, it's going to be this tie right here. And I'm just going to mark it lightly. Okay, then I'll move this engine out of the way. And then I'll finish marking it. Now, it doesn't have to cover 100%, just enough to show that that is the foul marker. And if you can see both sides of the tie, you can do both sides, but that'll be fine for now. And then I'll go over it probably one more time, just a touch, and then you can go in and weather it. And that's what I did there. I just weathered it with a little bit of weathering powders. All right, so we're gonna do the other side in a second, and then I'm gonna pause the video and be right back. All right, so we're gonna do the same on this side too. So I put the engine back in the crossover, and you can tell how tight this is here. So I'm gonna bring this car back just a touch, and we'll see how that looks. Still a little close than I want it to be. So we'll bring it back just a little bit more, and that'll work right there. All right, so I'm gonna mark the tie really quick, and then I'll finish painting it. You want to give ample time for this paint to dry. This does come in handy when you're actually operating and you maybe have an operator at your layout that is really not familiar with it. At least this will give them a guide of where to place the cars so you don't have any collisions. There we go. So that crossover is protected now, so now we know exactly where to put the cars if we need to do a runaround. All right, so I'm going to continue on, and we're going to do the rest of this area here, and then we'll be right back. All right, so I got all the foul markers painted on the ties, but if you notice, they're really bright. So what I want to do is I'm going to tone it down just a touch, and I'll show you how to do that now. Eventually, I'm going to weather this track and ballast it and everything, but that's way too bright for me. So what I'm going to do is I already did these two over here. Right, and you can see how I toned it down, and it actually gave a more of like a chip paint type of look to it. So what I'm using is this 3M scuff pad. It's a gray scuff pad. I'm not sure what grit it is, but it's very fine. And obviously this is dry. So I'm just gonna take the scuff pad and just lightly go in there and scuff down this tie. Just so the paint is not so bright. And then if you want, you could go over it with like an ink or a powder if you want to tone it down even more. It's entirely up to you what your preference is. Much better. All right, so I'm going to continue on for the rest of these, but at this point what we're going to do is we're going to move over to the New Haven gas area on the other side of the layout, and I'm going to show you how to install some magnets, uncoupling magnets. So let's head over there now, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, guys, so we're over at New Haven Gas, and obviously the building's been removed and the tanks have been removed. So I'm going to be putting those back shortly, but what I wanted to do is set up this industry and install the uncoupling magnet for this industry as well. So if you look at, I have 4 box cars, a hopper, and a tank. Normally this area would just take tank cars, but this is basically the size of the siding that I have. So I can fit 6 cars in here, but for an operator to reach over to this area, it can be a little difficult. So I decided to put some uncoupling magnets. So I'll show you how they work. So over here, there's an uncoupling magnet right there. And that industry is going to take 1 car. So if I were to push this car over here, and just say if I'm shoving into this industry, and I'm over the magnet now, and then I pull back, that's the whole purpose of this. So we don't have to reach in there over buildings and whatnot. And then, you know, we can come back in and recouple onto that car and pull it out. And again, same thing, go over the magnet, go back and come forward, and it uncouples. So that's what we're gonna do over here. So let me get set up and we'll be right back. All right, so we're gonna be using the Kayde 321 uncoupling magnets. This is for code 100, and this is the delayed uncoupling magnet. So let's open it up and show you what we're gonna do. So you get 2 magnets per package. So, and this is the one that sits in between the ties. So just say if I want to put it here, per se. All right. Now, I know I can fit. Let's see if this is going to work. There we go. Eventually I'm going to have to change most of these cars out to Kayde couplers. Some of the couplers are just not going to, oh, here we go. So this will work just fine in this location here. Now dragging out the train is not going to uncouple it, but if I go back, it will. So, well, the whole purpose of this is so people don't have to reach over and knock into buildings and whatnot. So that magnet is in a really good spot. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my Sharpie marker again. I use a red one. I'm just going to mark the side of the rails where it's going to be. And then I'm going to glue the magnet in place. And what I'm using for glue is this some Eileen's tacky glue. You don't need a lot, just enough. That's it. And you just put it right back to where you had it before. You want to make sure that the actual magnet is down enough in the rails. You don't want to make sure it's sticking up. And then just to test that, they do make a tool that you can put this in, but I'm not going to use the tool. Good. You want to make sure that's pretty much in the center of the gauge for obvious reasons. Perfect. And you know it's working because you can see how the couplers move. All right, good. This is not going to take long to set up, which is great about the Eileen's tacky glue. All right, so now we're going to move on to the next step. So I'm going to get the building, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do as far as identifying where the magnet is. So I'll be right back. All right, so we got the building in place, and then what we're going to do now is I'm going to put the marker in now for where the magnet is. So what I'm using is a 1/8 inch dowel that I stained and painted red. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill right where the magnet is. Take a little tacky glue. You don't need a lot. Okay. Now, so if you're switching out the layout and you're down here, you can see where the uncoupling magnet is. So you know exactly where to position the train. All right. So let's see this in action. So what we'll do is I'm going to show you on the manufacturers, the main line actually, that when I put in 2 more magnets, and I'm going to install some more of these markers, and then we'll do a trial run and see how it works. Be right back. All right, guys, so we're over in build docs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this train out, and I'm going to show you how the magnets work. So this particular locomotive doesn't have sound. So we're just going to bring this train out. All right. So now over here you can see where the magnet is, and also you have the red pole there. So I'm gonna back the train up just a touch. Just like that. All right, so let's go over and I'll show you how I'm gonna run around the track. All right, so right now, this is where our train is. It's in between crossover 2 and crossover 1. All right, so this is where it's sitting. So I'm gonna need to uncouple here, go past this crossover, throw the crossover, and then run around, throw this crossover, and then reconnect on the other side. And let's just assume that we have to switch out New Haven Lumber, or New Haven Wood Company, which is gonna be right here. All right, so I'll show you how it's done. So I'll put the, in fact, I'll show you how I'm gonna throw the switches. Let's see, actually let's uncouple first. So I'll put the camera right here. All right, so I'm over the magnet now. Here we go. I'm gonna run past the crossover. Okay, I'm gonna throw the iron, and basically I have to go CO1, which is crossover 1, which is right here. Now it's thrown, and I'm also gonna throw crossover 2. Okay. Okay, so we're going to change directions. We're going to normal CO2, and we're going to come forward. Okay, then I'm going to come back because I got to throw another switch. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to throw M1 switch, and that will bring us down to the siding here for New Haven Wood. And I can do all my switching now from here. So, you know, I don't need, obviously I don't need magnets for over here because, you know, I can reach all this stuff. But for this purposes over on the main, obviously I can't even reach because how deep the bench work is. In order for me to get the switching I want, I had to make the bench work this deep. So, but it will work just fine. So what's nice about the magnets is they work really well when you want to run around a train that you can't get to. Okay, we're going to pause the video. Okay, so we're going to bring the train past that switch. I got to normal the M1 switch. Bring it forward. And I'm going to come back just a touch. forward a little bit. There we go. And then we're going to throw CO2, and we're going to run around the train again. And let's shove it back into the yard. All right, so the next thing I want to go over, a while back I did a review on a Rapido engine. This one here, the Jet, the EP5. Now, unfortunately, I had to send this one back. This is the same one that I featured in the video. There was an issue with the pantograph, so I had to send it back in for repairs. So let's take a look at the engine and see how the repairs went. So I'm going to pause the video, take the engine out of the box, and then we'll test it out. All right, so let's put the address in. 373, enter. Okay, forward and back. I tell you, it has to be the quietest engine I've ever experienced. But unfortunately, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take it off the track because I forgot to hit the button on the bottom for the pantograph. So I'll be right back. So on the bottom of the locomotive, there is a little switch. You just throw the switch to turn on the actual pantographs. All right. Let's see. We're going to go forward. Pantographs are not working. Hold on a second here. Would help if I turn the sound on. All right, so the pantographs are not working, so I got to pause the video once more. All right, let's try this again. So I had the switch on, I just didn't put the sound on, so we're going to start it up again. Okay, now I'm going to put it in reverse, forward, and the other pantograph's going to come up and the other one's going to go down. All right, good. And then when you shut it down, the other pantograph goes down. All right, so successful repair. So thank you, Rapido, for repairing this. And we're going to go on to our next segment, which is going to be a box opening. And then we'll wrap up this layout update for November. So I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I picked up these, I found these online. These are a special run, the Sunbelt system. And I got two of these covered hoppers. These are 2-bay hoppers. They're from Bowser. So I'm gonna be putting these on the layout. These were built in 42, so it'll work for my era. So for the Sunbelt. And then I found a locomotive that I picked up last year at the Springfield show, and I forgot. I actually picked it up because I had put it away right away as soon as I got home. But I picked up this this New Haven switcher. It is a dummy, but what's cool about it, you can take the hood off of this thing, and there's a motor sitting there, an engine. So this is obviously doesn't run, but it's going to sit in one of the engine facilities once I build them, probably for Cedar Hill or even over on the manufacturers. So it'll be a pretty cool scene to model. So perfect. I got a really great deal on this, so I couldn't pass it up. And then let's see what else we got. We got another box here. This is from a while back. Let's see what we got in here. I have to get a blade and cut this. Or maybe not. So we're going to do a couple of these. Yeah, I'm going to need a blade. These are Crooked Mountain lines. Oops, sorry. So this is a blue box kit wooden box car. Looks like with some metal ends. This could be a nice addition. Let's see what else we got. We have TP&W and Sacramento Northern Western Pacific. We got a Arcadia, no, Arcade and Attica Railroad. And then we have a Reading. So these are all blue box kits. Nice shape. Uh-oh. A couple are popped off, which is normal, typical of these cars. And we got a footstep broken off. Is it in the package? Nope. All right, so that'll have to go to the repair pile. Not a big deal. This is in real nice shape. And then the last one is this Western Pacific, Sacramento Northern. Another car that's in great shape. All right. So we had one car that got beat up a little bit, but nothing crazy. I can just add that to my pile to get fixed. So I hope you enjoyed this layout update. I'm gonna have another one coming up soon, but I can't believe it's November already. And that's pretty much it. So this is Ron New Haven Rails. Hope you enjoyed this layout update, and I'll see you at the next one. Have a great weekend, everybody. All right, everybody, one of the things that I forgot to mention earlier was the background buildings that I'm putting on the actual layout. More of actual background photos right now. And I'm trying to figure out what's going to work best in the area. This one here is going to be the A&P warehouse. That is definitely going to stay. Most likely those will stay as well. They just fit really well. Now this one here, this one here is going to stay as well. And then this is also going to be a background area as well. So let's go to the other side, and I'll show you on this side here. I changed up some of the buildings. This one seemed to just fit better here. I actually moved this building down a little bit, and then what I'm going to do is use this one, and I'm going to cut this one back. But this one seemed to have matched that one a lot better than what I had there. So as I move closer They're putting in more backdrops. I'm going to put backdrops in the back here as well. So I'm probably going to use possibly N scale ones just to show some distance. So now I can wrap up this layout update. So thanks for watching, everybody. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And I'll see you at the next layout update. Thanks for watching. Have a great week, everybody.